You're born in a stone house clinging to the slope in the Tibetan mountains at 13,000 feet. You arrive as your parents' second child and first daughter. Nobody throws a feast, but nobody looks disappointed either. Here, children are children. Years pass, and you turn 4. You finally understand your family's dynamics. Your father farms on barley terraces, agricultural steps carved into the mountainous or hilly slopes to grow barley. When you're this high up, even farming becomes an extreme sport. Your mother, on the other hand, keeps the house running. She churns butter, cards wool, and takes care of the family's yaks. But the children aren't left out. Your brother helps your father on the barley terraces, while you help your mom. In this house, hands are hands, and yours will do. Your mother teaches you to spin wool the way her mother taught her, thread pulled thin, and even between cracked fingers, the wheel turning steadily under a kneading foot. Your first attempts are lumpy and uneven. You expect her to scold you, but she doesn't. She just unspools it and hands it back. Again, she says. You do it 40 more times before dinner. Now you wish she had just scolded you. Still, it works, as by winter, your thread runs smooth. And that's not the only thing she teaches you. She also teaches you about plants. You learn which ones along the field's edge feed the goats and which ones kill them. You also learn which one will kill you. That frightens you, as in your eyes the leaves might very well be twins. So you memorize the difference, but not before almost poisoning a goat. But chores aren't the only things you do. You play with your brother and other kids. They let you tag along as they skip stones on the irrigation channel. You hate it because your arm is weak and your stones mostly sink. But what annoys you the most is that whenever you ask your brother how he got so good, he always says he learnt it from Tibetan monks. Still, you love your life, because what's there not to love? Years pass, and you're 16 now. Your brother is grown and married. He lives in a house on your father's land, so he's close enough to wave at from the terraces. Except you avoid visiting his house now. This is because his wife always asks when you're getting married. They don't visit often either. That's why the house feels quieter with just you and your parents in it. It's so quiet that you notice the voices in the next room the night a visitor comes. You're not meant to be listening. You do anyway. You hear words like marriage and 3 brothers being thrown around. You know they're talking about you since marriage is mentioned. You just don't understand what 3 brothers have to do with you. The answer comes quickly, as 2 nights later, your mother sits you down properly. But she isn't alone, as you see your father standing near the door too. You notice that he looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Your mother tells you that she knows you overheard them speaking when the visitor came, and that she believes it's better you understand what's happening. She explains that a family has come to ask for your hand in marriage. You smile. The joy you feel is evident in your face. You've always looked forward to the day. After all, most of your peers are already married. But before you can overreact, your mother asks you to let her finish. She tells you that it's not one of their sons that wants to marry you, but 3 sons. You ask how that can be possible. Your mother then explains to you that their father died 5 winters back, that a blizzard took him on the high pass and his body was never found. She also tells you that their mother died years before that, giving them the youngest. She then tells you plainly that there's no one left to run their house except the sons themselves. It's at that moment your father adds that although the family has 3 sons, they only have enough land to feed 1 household, not 3. He explains that if each brother took his own wife, the land would split 3 ways when it came to inheritance, and if it's split 3 ways, none of them will eat well. He explains that this is why they share, that with 1 wife, they stay in 1 house, and the piece of land stays whole. Throughout their explanation, your face has shown an array of expressions, and none of them is good. Your mother notices it. She sighs and tells you that this arrangement is not shameful, as it's how families like theirs survive up here. You ask why it has to be you doing the surviving. Neither of them answers that one directly. Your father just says, "You'll want for nothing. That's more than most girls get." A month later, 2 men come to your house. When they arrive, your father asks you to bring tea and say little. Your mother tells you that they're the brothers who asked for your hand in marriage. This makes you curious as you watch them closely. The eldest, a man in his 20s, is broad through the shoulders and doesn't smile once. He speaks to your father, not to you, in the flat tone of a man closing a deal on a yak. You already know he's going to be a stern person. The other man is the middle brother. He's a bit younger than his brother, but he looks at you when he says thank you for the tea. He even compliments the tea before taking a sip, saying it's a strong tea, so he likes it already. Something in you loosens slightly at that. You let yourself hope, just a little, that this won't be unbearable. Before they leave, you learn that the youngest didn't come. Something about being too young. You file that away without understanding it. Your wedding comes a week later as you stand in your best dress, wool dyed deep red for occasions like this. The cold still finds every seam in it anyway. The eldest brother, Tenzin, signs the marriage document. The middle brother, Norbu, stands beside him, silent this time. Your parents hand over the small store of dowry, cloth, a few coins, and a turquoise ornament that was your grandmother's. Nobody sings. Nobody feasts long. It is a transaction with your name attached to it, and by midday you're walking to a house that isn't yours yet, owned by a family that is now apparently yours. That night, alone in the room that's been given to you, you wait for someone to come explain what happens now, the way your mother would have if this were her house and not a stranger's. No one comes. There's no old woman here to tell you the rules, no mother-in-law to soften the edges. Just stone walls, a single lamp, and the understanding settling in slow and cold as the floor beneath you, that whatever this house expects of you, you'll have to work it out alone. 3 days into the marriage, Tenzin finds you in the storeroom and clears his throat as he explains the house rules to you. You notice that this seems to be alien to him as he stumbles on his words. He mentions that your room belongs to both you and your husband's, that whenever any of them stay with you, they'll leave their hat outside the door. This way, no one will get in the other's way. When you ask about days there's no hat in there, he says you can sleep. This sounds strange to you. You don't know why. He seems to notice your discomfort as he chooses to mention that he didn't come up with the rule. He says that is how it has always been. So you nod like this is all perfectly normal, because apparently here it is. Over the next few days, you earn your place faster than you expected. 3 weeks in, you find the grain stores mismanaged, barley from last season shoved behind this year's, as mice get into what should have been sealed. You reorganize it yourself over 2 days, newest to the back, oldest to the front, seals checked and resealed. When Tenzin finds out, he doesn't exactly thank you. He just stops questioning your judgment on the house. To you, that's progress. During this time, you meet the youngest brother, Karma. He's only 8. To you, he's the younger sibling you never had. And to be fair, he treats you as the older sister he never had.
He even starts calling you Ache,
Sister. You call him your little husband. He blushes every time you say it. But regardless of how you treat him, he's still a child.
albeit one full of questions.
Within a month, he's attached to you, and he's always by your side. He follows you to the loom, asks why wool has to be spun this way and not that way, and wants to know if you're scared of the mountain spirits his brothers tease him about. One afternoon, you catch a spinning knot before it ruins an hour's thread, your fingers moving faster than he can follow. Immediately, he asks how you were able to do that. I learned this from some Tibetan monk, you say, straight-faced. He believes you for a full year. 2 years pass, and you have your first child, a son. When the midwife hands the boy over, Tenzin is the one who takes him first. He holds him with a kind of careful stiffness and says, Appa, father, to a child who can't hear him yet. Norbu leans in a moment later, grinning, already reaching to be next. Karma, now 10, pulls at your robe asking to see the baby. Nobody asks whose son he actually is. Nobody will. Not once. Not ever. This is because this is the one question this house cannot survive being asked. This is the rule guiding the marriage. Since all brothers have agreed to share a wife, they must also share the children. But life doesn't pause because of the baby. Everybody still has their duties. Tenzin and Norbu work on the family's barley terrace. They spend most of their days at work. Karma helps them on some days. Other days, he helps you take care of the yaks, the baby, and the house. Tenzin also barters on behalf of the family. And when goods need to be taken down the mountain, he volunteers. Although he's stern, you know he's trustworthy. Norbu, on the other hand, helps with the physical duties around the house, like mending fences or hauling water. You always look forward to it, as he makes you laugh in a way that surprises you, given where you are. It doesn't take long before you find yourself looking forward to the days when it's his turn at the door. Tenzin isn't like that. When you make a decision without asking him, like trading wool for salt with a neighbor at a fair rate, he tells you flatly that decisions about trade aren't yours to make. Even when you point out it worked out fine, he doesn't accept. Still, you don't mind. He's your husband after all. Well, 1/3 of your husband's. 6 years pass. More children have joined the family. A boy and 2 girls. But that's not all, as over the years, age has had an effect on all of you. The children, now 4 in number, make the house lively. They seem to have worn you down, as you now look a lot like your mother. Your mother says the same thing in jest whenever she visits. You resent her and the children for that. But it's not only you who have changed. Their fathers have changed too. Tenzin, now in his 30s, seems more rugged. To you, he looks even sterner than when you first met. On the other hand, Norbu, who is older now, still retains his carefree attitude. Except now he only scares the kids with ghost stories. But Karma is the one who has seen the most change, as tomorrow he will turn 16 and officially become a man according to your customs. There's no ceremony, as Tenzin simply tells you that evening that it's time for Karma to join the marriage officially. You knew it was coming, but knowing doesn't make it any easier to accept. So the arrangement made is for Karma to spend that night with you. The truth is, it isn't easy for either of you. He can't look at you. You even find yourself talking too much, filling the silence with anything until it isn't unbearable anymore. Eventually, you make the first move, as you guide him to perform his duties. It isn't easy. Still, it becomes something you can learn to accept. Your children grow up inside that abundance without knowing it's unusual. 3 fathers instead of 1. Someone always home even when someone else is gone for 6 weeks trading salt for grain across the passes. They call all 3 men father. You intend to keep it that way for as long as you can. Some days you watch your children with their fathers and think that whatever this house took from you, it gave you something back for it too. 2 years have passed since Karma joined the marriage. One way or another, you've both come to accept the situation. Still, due to your past relationship with him, you dote on him. And in return, he puts you first, even above his brothers. But it happens so slowly you don't even notice it happening. Firstly, he starts to ask for your opinion before he asks his brothers. Then he starts to sit close to you during meals. You don't mind, as you've raised him more than you've married him. And some old habit in you still checks on him the way you'd check on a younger brother. You ask if he has eaten, if he slept well, and even if he's warm enough. You don't think anything of it. It's just how you've always been with him. But the others notice too. One evening, Tenzin says something about it. You spoil him, he says, watching you mend Karma's coat instead of Norbu's, which is torn worse. He says it lightly, like a joke, but you notice his eyes don't join in. You laugh it off. He doesn't laugh with you. Next to him, Norbu says nothing at all, which is somehow worse. That's when you notice he has changed too. He used to talk through every chore you shared. Now he just moves in silence. Well, except when he's playing with the kids. It seems they are the only ones he smiles to these days. More years pass as Karma turns 22. For a while, you notice that his countenance has changed. You ask him what's wrong, but he tells you nothing, that you shouldn't worry. Still, you press him for answers. You've known him since he was little, so he caves. He tells you what's going on. He tells you that since he joined the marriage, you haven't gotten pregnant, and how that means that none of the kids that call him father are really his. You mention the customs to him, but he just shoves them aside, saying his brothers have hope of at least being the father of one. He has none, and it feels like he's working for his brother's children and descendants. You don't have an answer that fixes it, so you do what you've always done instead. You act. You start reorganizing the rotation quietly. More nights for Karma, fewer for the others. You make excuses about the trading season or the harvest. You also take fertility herbs as you pray for fertility. Nothing happens. Still, you believe things will change. You tell yourself it's simple, that all you have to do is to become pregnant. But you forget it takes two to tango. 2 years pass, and the situation has gotten worse. Your favoritism is obvious now. You know, but you choose not to explain yourself. After all, it's a problem with an obvious solution, and you've solved harder things than this. Then one day, while the children are playing with Norbu, your youngest daughter walks up to Karma, saying, "Come play with us, Appa." From across the room, you hear Karma tell her harshly to stop calling him father. The child goes quiet, confused. Norbu hears it and asks him what he just said. Karma retorts, saying that he said the truth, that none of what he said is a lie, as he never agreed to the shared wife arrangement. Norbu tells him that that was what was best for the family, as they had little land to share. That's when Karma says something you'll never forget in your life. He says that he'd rather be a peasant with nothing than live with their leftovers. The words land like a slap. Immediately, Norbu throws a punch as it becomes a fight. This one is real and physical, so without thinking, you're between them, hands on Norbu's chest, telling him to stop. What you don't notice is that it's only him you stop, but Norbu notices immediately. "You're still defending him," he says, quiet, almost curious. After what he just said, to you, to the children, you have no answer. He doesn't wait for one. From that day on, the house goes cold in a way it never has. Norbu and Karma stop speaking entirely. Neither speaks much to you either. Tenzin tries, clumsily, to broker peace between them, but gets nowhere. Then one morning, Karma is gone. No goodbye, just gone. Everyone in the house knows why, even the ones too young to say it. Months pass. You wait for a message, a rumor, anything. Nothing comes. When the children ask where he went, you tell them a story about trade routes and distant villages, because the truth isn't one you can hand a child. But your troubles aren't over, as a month after Karma disappears, Norbu leaves too. Tenzin tells you that he went to a monastery, and that he said he never wants to see your face again, as he blames you for everything. From that day on, something in Tenzin changes. He used to be stern before. Now he's just distant. You watch him take on his absent brother's duties without complaint. You know he's only doing it for the children. You also know, though he never says it outright, exactly who he blames. The years pass slowly. You're 40 now. Your children have grown, and the youngest is now 15. You and Tenzin still don't speak. Then Tenzin doesn't return one day. His body is found a week later. It turns out he was caught on the high pass in a blizzard while carrying salt he traded for grain he never brought home. You bury what's left. And just like that, the house that once held 3 husbands holds none. Still, the regret never leaves you. The years of mental stress and self-blame have taken their toll on you. Tenzin's death just becomes the last straw. You die a year later, in the home you built with 3 men. Your children bury you next to Tenzin. They're grown now, but they also carry scars from your mistake, so you believe they wouldn't make the same mistake you and their fathers made. You believe your death won't be missed, What you don't know is that in a village far away, a man weeps upon hearing of your death. When his children ask him why he's crying, he tells him that his sister just passed away. The same happens in a monastery. A monk who is said to have never shown any expression in years shows a bitter smile upon receiving the news. You wonder what expression they'll show if they knew they were the last thought you ever had. I guess we'll never know.